Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing great. Let the story begins. Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters. School is tough enough when you're a demigod trying to pass algebra, but keeping a low profile at Merriweather College Prep turned out to be completely impossible for me. For a while, I thought I had found a kindred spirit in Tyson, a towering homeless kid who was gentle-hearted, fiercely loyal, and the only person in school who didn't run away screaming from my weirdness. But normal life shattered into absolute chaos during a gym class dodgeball game. The opposing team suddenly transformed into Laestrygonian giant cannibals, hurling flaming, explosive bronze spheres right at our heads. As the gym went up in flames and panic erupted, Tyson stepped in and caught the fiery balls barehanded, proving he was much more than he appeared. We had no choice but to flee for our lives, knowing our time in the mortal world was up. Before we could even figure out our next move, a mental distress signal pierced my thoughts. An empath link from my best friend, Grover. He was trapped, terrified, and hiding in a cave somewhere far away, having accidentally walked right into a deadly trap set by Polyphemus, the monstrous Cyclops, who was holding him captive and waiting to make him a wedding meal. When Tyson and I finally managed to race back to Camp Half-Blood, we found the entire sanctuary in a state of sheer panic. The magical barrier that protected the camp from outside monsters, a shield created years ago from the dying spirit of Zeus's daughter, Thalia, was failing. Someone had sneaked past the borders under cover of night and injected a lethal poison into Thalia's pine tree. Without that magical barrier holding the wilderness back, the camp was completely exposed to packs of hostile monsters gathering at the perimeter. To make matters worse, Chiron had been unfairly ousted from his position, and the camp management had been handed over to Tantalus, a frustrating spirit pulled straight out of the underworld's fields of punishment, who took sadistic pleasure in making things miserable for us. When a desperate quest was proposed to save the camp by finding the legendary Golden Fleece, an artifact whose magical aura could heal the poison tree, Tantalus predictably awarded the mission to Clarisse Larue, brushing me aside entirely. But sitting around and waiting wasn't in my nature. With my best friend Grover facing execution and my home on the verge of destruction, Annabeth, Tyson, and I decided to take matters into our own hands. We snuck out of the camp under the cover of night, determined to cross the mortal world and plunge straight into the most dangerous waters on Earth, the Sea of Monsters, which mortals call the Bermuda Triangle. Our journey across the seas began with a terrifying reality check when we hitched a ride on a luxury cruise ship called the Princess Andromeda. It didn't take long for us to realize that this wasn't a normal vessel. It was a floating headquarters for the resurrected army of the Titan Kronos, commanded by Luke Castellan, my old friend turned enemy. Luke was actively gathering a massive force of disaffected demigods and ancient monsters to spark a global war. We only managed to escape their clutches thanks to a frantic, high-speed rescue by the Grey Sisters in a clanking, flying taxi, though the ride left us battered and dizzy. We soon crossed paths with Clarisse, who was navigating her own government-issued ironclad warship, crewed by the ghost soldiers of Confederate veterans. Together, we pressed deeper into the treacherous currents of the Sea of Monsters. The waters lived up to their terrifying reputation at every turn. We had to navigate past Scylla, the multi-headed horror that snatched crew members from the deck, and stare straight into the swirling maw of Charybdis, a colossal marine vortex that sucked our ship down into the deep blue abyss. When our ship was torn apart, Tyson and I were plunged into the crushing depths of the ocean. Believing my half-brother was gone, I washed ashore on a strange, sun-baked island, only to discover that Tyson had survived the plunge. Guided by destiny and our instincts, we tracked Grover down to the lair of Polyphemus. There, we found my satyr friend, awkwardly dressed in a wedding gown, having desperately tried to trick the blind giant into thinking he was a female Cyclops to avoid being eaten. A brutal, high-stakes showdown erupted as we fought Polyphemus to rescue Grover and secure our prize. Tyson proved his incredible strength by holding off the rampaging giant, and we managed to snatch the glowing, magical Golden Fleece from its resting place. With our mission accomplished, we raced against time to get back to Long Island. Arriving back at Camp Half-Blood just as the defenses were collapsing completely, we rushed to the hill and draped the Golden Fleece over Thalia's dying pine tree. The effect was instantaneous and breathtaking. A surge of pure, Golden magic rippled through the branches, purging every trace of poison from the roots and restoring the tree to vibrant, glowing health. But the magic of the fleece did something even the gods hadn't anticipated. The overwhelming restorative power drew life back into the tree's very essence, pulling Thalia herself out of the bark and restoring her physical body to the world of the living. Standing on the hilltop and looking at the resurrected daughter of Zeus, I knew the game board had completely changed. A new player was on the field. An ancient prophecy was inching closer to fulfillment, and the ultimate war for the fate of the world was drawing ever nearer. That's all for the story. If you like this kind of story, please click like and subscribe for more video. Good night.